the part of me that will keep saying no because I'm so afraid of letting someone in. And the big umbrella of the whole thing is I'm so terrified to let anyone know me.
Being a human is hard, especially if you're a woman who's having trouble doing that totally normal thing all humans do, but not all of us like to talk about. You know, pooping. Thankfully, Garden of Life's doctor-formulated women's probiotics contain 40 billion probiotics to help you be a more regular human. Garden of Life. Visit gardenoflife.com/poop to learn more. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The last thing you want to hear while listening to your favorite podcast is another gimmicky ad. NJM feels the same way. It's why they provide award-winning service without the use of mascots or repetitive jingles. And when you upgrade to NJM, you could even save on your auto insurance. Better service and possible savings? Sounds like a win-win. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Visit njm.com/podcast for a quote to see how much you could save on your auto insurance.
Shh. Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Breanne Davis-Gant. Today, I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves and others. You know, those deep, dark secrets we probably want to go to our grave with, or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing. Really, the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. My guest today is Ruby. Ruby, my question for you is, dun, dun, dun. What is your secret?
All right. So my secret is that I am a sex and love addict. And there are other components to that as well, which is like there's the anorexia of sex and love addiction.
Oh, well, let's talk about that. So for I mean, everybody knows I'm in the program. How long have you been around?
I think my whole life I've been around in other 12-step programs for my whole life. The people-pleasing program, the Al-Anon Fixer program. I've been in that one. But what I realized was that I had a lot of my own little things that I kept hidden by all the ways that I tried to manage and control everybody outside of myself. So, yeah. So I would say that I started in the Al-Anon program, which is really trying to, manage and control. And then I started to recognize that I never wanted anybody to see my flaws. That was part of my thing. So a lot of my stuff was just this strange behavior that manifested like sex and love addiction. It sort of came out in a way that to get things, as a way to avoid things, as a way to avoid intimacy, because we all know the definition of intimacy is into me, you see, but which I love that term. But I used it. I just always had an ulterior motive with sex and love addiction until I learned that love and sex is supposed to be a byproduct of commitment and sharing and connection and cooperation and all these beautiful things they talk about it. I never had any experience with it in that realm. I always just thought it was to be used as a tool and never as something that actually was something that was beautiful for engaging in a partnership with someone. So
I agree.
My whole life was that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as we've discussed it before, like I know for me, like I would put on these masks to become someone else. So I never wanted to show the real me.
Yeah, which is really exhausting and very painful. And then I think as you get older, we get tired of wearing a mask all the time. You need to breathe. Whereas when you're not being who you are imploding on yourself. You're keeping everything capped inside. So I think recognizing that I had that thing, which was like, why I always felt so weird about intimacy and relationships, kept me so disconnected from my partners. So I was able to have a partnership with friends, like girlfriends. I could have like great relationships with girlfriends. I felt super connected. I was able to be super intimate with my girlfriends in the way that we communicated and whatnot. But when it came to a partner where there was actual physical intimacy and a friendship, I didn't know how to combine the two. I could have intimacy, but I didn't know how to be friends with those people. I just knew that I had to put on my little sex kitten characteristic and be this little thing to make them think about me the way I wanted myself to be looked at as, which kept me far, far, far away from being able to be who I was, and also from being able to speak out for what I needed. So it was a long, long, lot of years worth of not being who I was in my intimacy life. And it was very painful looking back at it.
So you've been around and you've looked at it and you've done the work, but now I really want to discuss the anorexia side of it, because I haven't actually discussed that yet. So I'm interested if you want to explain that to the listeners.
Yeah. So anorexia in the realm of sex and love addiction is the same as like food addiction. Where eating disorders in the realm, plus I had that too when I was younger. I did a lot of messing around with anorexia as far as in the food realm. Mm-hmm. What it is, like, it's a fear of overeating. So you tend to undereat, and you tend to, the smaller you can become, the safer you feel. So it's kind of like that with sexuality. The way that it manifested was I would go really quickly into a relationship with someone. Like, I would meet someone and I would probably be sleeping with them that day.
Then moving in, and then like,
no, I didn't really do that. I
didn't either, but I know a lot of people.
I know a lot of people that did that. I was too smart for that because I knew that just down the line. Also, that was too scary because the anorexic part of me would be like, that would make me crazy if I had to be around that person for too long, because I feel like I need to get away. Like, I couldn't tolerate that kind of intimacy. So anorexia in the realm of sex and love addiction is sort of getting, like, I would just have a casual sex encounter with someone because it was a lot safer than letting somebody see me or letting myself see someone else. And it had only to do with the body and a physical sensation, but nothing to do with connection.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I didn't have to get turned off by that person, by what thing they might do or say that would turn me off. So it was a way to stay very, very disconnected, very unintimate. But you're having intimacy, which is such a really strange dual thing. You're being intimate, but you don't know the person at all, and you're allowing yourself to be physically intimate. But getting to know someone was far too scary. So quick intimacies with strangers was a lot more comfortable for me. And anorexia kicks in that I would go long periods of time without being with someone because I was so terrified to actually allow myself to be intimate with someone. And then I would get to where having a quick intimacy with someone was starting to hurt me too much. It started to feel too painful. So I would then just be like, I'm not going to be with anyone until I feel really comfortable with someone. But the anorexia part of me would not let myself get to know someone well enough to feel comfortable. So then I would go through these periods of time where I was feeling very anorexic. Understand?
So it's withholding yourself and your sexuality. It's withholding. So
yeah,
I definitely know what that feels like. For me, it's easier too to be intimate with someone I don't know than intimate with someone I love. The two didn't go together. So how long were the periods of you being anorexic sexually?
I mean, there were some times where I would go 2 years without being sexual with someone. Maybe I'd have a makeout session here or there, but there would be sometimes 2 years. I think the longest was maybe, I think 3 years of complete no abstinence from sex. But like I said, a few little makeouts, and those few little makeouts, or there would be like 3 years of complete and total abstinence from sex, thinking that I was doing something really good for myself.
Yeah.
Holding myself for the right thing. And then I'd meet someone, and then that night I'd sleep with them. I'd be like, what just happened? Like, how did I go from not being with anyone for 3 years, thinking that I was going to do the right thing for myself and save myself till I felt connected to someone? And then I meet someone and my brain goes into, just like an alcoholic was like, who's been sober, thinking like, I'm not going to drink that drink. I don't need to drink that first thing. Then you're like, I can just have a sip. It'll be okay.
Yeah. And then you're just.
And I'm not an alcoholic, but that's from what I've read. That's so funny to me, but that's how it works in the realm of sexual addiction and sexual anorexia. Is I can go being very strong about that. I'm not going to have an encounter with someone that's not connected. And then I just meet someone, and then they look at me a certain way. And then I think, oh, just hang out with that person. I haven't been with anybody in a while. And then all of a sudden they'll be trying to be sexual with me. And I'll be like, no, 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 I'm not going to go there. And then they get aggressive enough. And to me, that's like a go. Like if somebody's going to be aggressive enough. And that's the part of me that I had to really check into, was the part of me that needed that person to be that aggressive, to where then I would just, roll over and be like, okay. And that scared me, that I would, once somebody got aggressive enough with me, then I would just be like, okay.
Do you know what that ties from? Did you tie it back to anything?
I mean, I've done so much writing on it. I think it ever since the beginning of my intimacy life, I always heard in the voice in my head was my mother being like, don't let men touch you. They'll hurt you. They'll try to take advantage of you. They'll hurt you. All this negative, 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 negative. So I had this total like, no, 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 no. But then, and then what happened is I'd say no. But then if somebody come along and be that aggressive, I would think, wow, they really must like me. They really want to be with me.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So then my head will think, well, I guess maybe this is meant to be, since they really want to be with me. They're not like thinking it in terms of like, they just want to get laid. They're going to be a little aggressive. Some people are a little shy and they aren't.
They're like, they need me. I need to give them this because they need it so bad. They want me so much.
Yeah. And that makes me feel important. Like they must really want me. I must be really valuable, that they're really going to try to push me. Not thinking like my no should be, my no is enough.
Yeah.
But also my no, the anorexic part of the no part of my voice will keep going for 3 years, because I'll keep saying no, 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 the anorexic part of me, until someone is aggressive enough. And then I'm like, okay, well, they really want me. So I should say yeah, because maybe I haven't been with anybody in a long time. Maybe I just need to let go and just relax about this. There's this quick switches of my brain out of the blue.
Here's my question for you, and for other people that don't understand this. Do you find that the anorexia side of this disease very hard? I almost find it more difficult to overcome than the acting out part. Do you agree?
Yes, because you can get caught in that cycle of, I'm not going to let the part of me that will keep saying no because I'm so afraid of letting someone in. And the big umbrella of the whole thing is I'm so terrified to let anyone know me and really be me. So that part of me is stronger, is really strong, so I can go long periods of time. And like I said, then I'll have these moments of like amnesia where I forget, and I'll just sleep with somebody after 2 years of no one, right at the spur of the, right at that one moment. I'll just be like, he's really cute. He's really sweet. I'll just, whatever. Let's just have fun. Because there's that part of me that just thinks, oh, let's just live a little, let it go. But that's the extreme other side. There has to be like a middle ground, is what I'm finding, is like, that's not okay. And not. They say the anorexia of SLA is not doing something and not doing something and not doing something. Just like you can, like, I'm noticing in my writing and all my growing right now, COVID, is my issues have been coming up for me is like change. Change is really hard for me. It's
hard for a lot of people, just so you know. Change is very difficult for people.
It's really hard.
The last thing you want to hear while listening to your favorite podcast is another gimmicky ad. NJM feels the same way. It's why they provide award-winning service without the use of mascots or repetitive jingles. And when you upgrade to NJM, you could even save on your auto insurance. Better service and possible savings? Sounds like a win-win. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Visit njm.com/podcast for a quote to see how much you could save on your auto insurance.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, cash back at participating convenience stores too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU10 for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU10 for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
Being a human is hard, especially if you're a woman who's having trouble doing that totally normal thing all humans do, but not all of us like to talk about. You know, pooping. Thankfully, Garden of Life's doctor-formulated women's probiotics contain 40 billion probiotics to help you be a more regular human. Garden of Life. Visit gardenoflife.com/poop to learn more. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
But I find it easier when I have people around me that support me, but I've kind of been solo for a little while. And so I really find that change thing has really been triggering for me of like, I'm trying to make some decisions about to move or to not move or to rent my house or not rent my house or to stay or to not, or I get to invite someone to rent part of the house. I've had ongoing things like that. And my fear of making a mistake, maybe it's the mother in my voice, the mother head saying, you're going to make a mistake and you're going to screw yourself over and you're going to get hurt. They're going to hurt you. They're going to take you. It kind of bled through. Now that's an old story. And I've slowly been trying to move that story out from the forefront of my path because it's blocking me from taking risks and jumping in the current. Like I read something beautiful about how awesome is that when you can jump in the current and not grab the sides, not be gripping the sides of the sides of the little riverbank because you're so terrified of where you might end up, but to actually release your fingers and trust something much bigger than you and see where that flow takes you. That's been my journey lately, is prying my fingers off of everything. And COVID has actually been really helping me with that because it's such a weird, powerless time period right now for everybody that I'm having to pry my fingers off of everything that I think I know and let go and see what's coming, flow down that river.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. That's exactly what we are working on, is just like letting go, and whatever's going to be is going to be. And we're always taken care of. But I do want to hit back at this anorexia thing. And I want to attach this kind of shame of anorexia with holding yourself with these 7 deadly sins, not in the religious sense, but more in the character defect sense. So I'm going to name them for you.
Okay.
We got pride, greed, lust, gluttony, envy, anger, and sloth.
Okay. So the biggest ones for me are pride. I have a sonic amount of pride about looking good, which is also tied into like people pleasing, how I want people to see me as opposed to what I actually am, wanting to control that. There is some lust takes over a little bit sometimes. Is that read them again. So pride.
We have greed, lust, gluttony, envy, anger, and sloth.
There is some greed. I find there is a part of me that I want to hold on to everything physically, metaphorically, monetarily, control. I want to hold on to everything. So there is something in the way of it's a greed thing to me. It's not open-handedly like money. I read something else like money. I'm on a growing spur right now. Money. Every time you spend money, I read something that said you're supposed to say, well, in this particular thing, it said say arigato, money going out, arigato, money coming in. So thank you to the money going out, and thank you to the money coming in. Just as much as the money coming in, the money going out should be a thank you. And to me, that is where gluttony or greed is. It's the same with withholding sex. It's the same with withholding my connection to intimacy, allowing somebody to see me. It's covering, it's holding myself small. It's the same as trying to control everything, keeping it in my hands rather than opening my hands. So I think those are the big ones for me.
Well, I also think what you said with the money and with the sex is this flow. It's a flow. It's a continuous flow. And when you stop that energy, you're stopping the flow of you. So, because my therapist used to tell me like money, it flows out and it comes back in. It's just paper. There's actually no meaning behind it. And with sexuality, it's like you have to stay open and let that flow. So you find yourself closing down.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that.
So who has this anorexia side benefited and who has it harmed?
Well, the illusion was that the anorexia was going to keep me really safe. So for myself. But really, the anorexia has kept me really small and has kept me very disconnected and has kept me terrified. It's kept me small, physically, emotionally, mentally small and disconnected. So really myself, who it's hurt is, I would say the anorexic part of me has hurt everyone that I'm in contact with, like my family members, like my brothers and sisters who see me kind of like get so hard about wanting to control things and how to, and trying to like manage everything, which is like the anorexia is trying to keep everything just right and keep your food just right, just small enough to where you stay small enough, and keep your sexuality. Don't let it out too much because you might get hurt by someone. You might let them see.
Are you always worried too with the anorexia that you're going to lose control?
Yes. And then there's fears that come with that. And the fears that come with that are like, when I was young, I remember being terrified of STDs, like a physical thing. Like if you allow yourself to be there are STDs. So I had all these fears. And in life, like everything is possible. Like the truth is, it's like you can get an STD and it's not the end of the earth, but what it is, it's important to live. It's important to live, and also to on the biggest scheme of them all is to trust something bigger than you. Yes, we have to take action to be safe, and yes, we have to know the people we're being involved with a bit, not do and yes, we have to try something with someone we're not 100%, but we feel pretty good about, and we've talked it out, and we're reason things out with people that we trust, our God Squad team, because ultimately, there is a God. There is a God, and we're here on the planet, and we're still here on the planet, and there are everyday things happening, and we're not in control of any of it, as we can clearly see now with COVID. Like we're out of control of everything, but there has to be a point of risk and a point of like releasing your fingers from trying to figure everything out. And so the person, I think, really, it's hurt my partners, because the part of me that would become frustrated with my partners and fearful that I was not trusting them, then I would withdraw, and then I would shut, the wall would come down, boom. And then they couldn't see me. I would cover myself in my own wall from the anorexia. That would also prevent me from like that thing, the walls that are keeping you from experiencing your joy will keep you from experiencing your pain. And, we're supposed to be living life and feeling all of it so that you can have an experience. And I love that thing about like your heart, the anorexic will try to protect its heart, protect itself, don't have intimacy with someone you don't know, stay away from everyone. They're going to all hurt you. And so, I love that thing where it says, you want to, at the end of the day, have a heart that's scarred and ripped and has bled and has been beat up a bit, because that means that you've been allowing love in. You've been allowing experience, as opposed to one that is so preserved and so well cared for because you've protected yourself from any good, any bad, any middle ground, and you've just stayed safe.
Well, and I think you also hit on something that I love, when you said the walls around you, that it's protecting you from the pain. But I think what's important is when the past, what I've looked at, it doesn't just keep out the pain. It does keep out the joy. It does keep out the happiness. It keeps out everything. You don't get to choose which emotion you can keep in and keep out. If you're closed off to all the emotions.
And yourself. And you're closed off for yourself. Like I would say to because my brothers and sisters, my families really see it because I'm really close to my family, but they would always be like, I feel so shut down. I can't get out. And they'd be like, what's happening? I'm like, you did that thing that made me angry and stressed me out. And then my wall came down, and then now I'm stuck. And it's really hard for me to soften once I've been hardened and my wall comes down. So it's been a really like interesting journey of trying to learn to not let the wall shut down so that I can let some of the light come in. They say like the light comes in through the cracks, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't let any cracks open, then no light can come in. And that's what's been my journey lately, is letting myself open up across the board with everything and allow some light in so that I can take some risks and I can have some new experiences. And that's been my journey.
And that you can give and take, like, to others. There's an exchange. So my last question for you before we go is, how do you move forward? Or how would you give advice to someone that is feeling stuck?
I mean, I personally really love 12-step programs. There's a program for every way that you mask your feelings. There's the drinker program, the beverage program. There's the anorexic, if you're under eating your feelings away and trying to make yourself small. There's the overeater program if you're eating your feelings away, trying to avoid. There's the program for if you're using money to either hoard everything thinking you're going to be safe if you hoard everything, or those people who overspend where they have nothing left. There is a 12-step program for every situation, gamblers, every way. And I should speak for myself, but I know my experience is that most people have a way in which they cover themselves with something.
I call it everybody has an ism.
Yeah, there you go. And there's an ism program for everything. So I personally like 12-step program because there are no leader, there's no governing people, everybody kind of runs it. And it's like free, basically. You donate a couple dollars. There's no like, get a loan out on your house and we'll give you this course that will change your life. I've been in some of those too. And
I have too.
When you're feeling fragile, you'll do anything. And I just think that's not fair when someone is vulnerable to dive in underneath them and grab them and then take advantage of them. So I think 12-step program to me is a safe way to take a look at your stuff. And then of course, therapy is always great. I think it's always good to talk things out with someone who really understands. And I think it's real important to create a God squad around you, people that you meet through your 12-step programs, a community of people that you feel like you can call for different things and that you can be there for them too. Because, like they say in 12-step, you can't keep what you don't give back. So like if I get to learn all this cool stuff, I don't get to keep it unless I share it. So it really makes it a program of like, you have to give back, because if you don't give back and you're just lazy, like I already got the goods, I already feel good, I'm just going to go off now and live my life, then that's the wrong way to look at it. The right way to look at it is, okay, I got it. Now I have to give it away so I can keep it.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's the only way. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us today.
You're welcome.
If you want to be on the show, please email me at secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you'd like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, cash back at participating convenience stores too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU10 for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU10 for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
With the Kroger Plus card, it's easy to get lower than low prices for the win. Earn fuel points on every purchase and save up to $1 a gallon at the pump. The Kroger Plus card, all you do is win. Big, big savings. Sign up now at Kroger.com and start saving. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save more on natural and organic items. Just clip your digital coupons on our app and use them up to 5 times in one transaction with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.